This video is called Marriage and Millennials. I wanted to make this video for married couples that are millennials like me. I was born in the 90s, 1993, and I got a special heart for the millennials, man. The Rugrats, Barney, Hey Arnold. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, we've been married 7 years, my wife and I. And these are just 6 things I want to share really quick that I feel that has helped our marriage. And there's so much more, but I just want to get these out because this is what came to my mind. All right. Number 1, when it comes to millennial marriage advice. Number 1, don't vent to people who aren't married. Yes, don't vent to people who aren't married. And definitely don't vent to someone, a friend or family, who doesn't like your spouse. Okay? Don't vent to this friend or family member that doesn't like your spouse, because they'll be like, exactly, I told you he ain't really for you. And really, he is. And you venting to the wrong person. And when you vent to people who aren't married, they're seeing everything from a single person's perspective or a divorce perspective. Think about that. Number 2, marriage tip. You ready? Arguments are normal. No, yes, they are normal, very normal. What do I mean by that? I've been married 7 years, and I'm Christian. I love God. I pray. But sometimes me and my wife, we have heated arguments, like heated. Like I'm going to get out the car and walk home. Or like, oh my God. But it's normal, guys. Go look for an old couple in the grocery store somewhere, and they're like 80 years old. Ask them, do you guys argue? They can say, I'll tell you what. They just sit down. Let me tell you how. Yeah, they do. And this is a key. Look at what has been the root of your arguments lately. Is it money? Is it always stem back to money? Or is it a lack of communication? Right? Think about the bulk arguments you've been having lately. What's been the root of it? And then that's where you and your wife or your husband have to come together and say, hey, let's work this out. This is the problem. Let's get there. And I got to throw this in there when it comes to arguments. Marriage is seasonal. What do I mean by that? There's different seasons we go through in our marriage. There's seasons of lack. Come on. There's seasons of abundance. There's seasons of sickness. There's seasons of health. There's seasons of trying to go to the gym. There's seasons of not going to the gym. Hello. So arguments are normal. And there might be time maybe the husband's out of work for a season and maybe mom is helping out. That's life. So seasons happen in our marriage. Arguments are normal. Normal. Number 1, don't vent to people who aren't married. Side note, The 5 Love Languages is a great book to get for married couples, for couples. It talks about how we all show our love in 5 different ways: physical touch, words of affirmation, quality time, giving gifts, and acts of service. I think I said them all right there. You got to read it. It's really good. Maybe we all show our love in one of these 5 ways. Number 3, consider the 80-20 rule. My pastor's wife, she shared this. It was so amazing. Man, it was really, really good. She said, when you first met, you were spending 80% of your time loving all the good things about them and overlooking 20% of their flaws. Now, where are you at? Is it switched? Do you see 80% of their flaws and only 20% of the good? That's heavy right there. Because when you first saw them, like, oh my God, I don't realize he snores. Now it's like, you snore. I'm going to punch you in the lip. So consider the 80-20 rule. How have you been viewing your spouse lately? Number 4, get involved in the church, guys. Yes, it is a community with faith in Jesus at the center. And one of the main reasons why my wife and I are still together is because we have Christ at the center of our marriage, and we go to church. We have a healthy relationship with our church. We have a healthy relationship with each other, and that is so important, guys. You know why? Because you get to be able to be in a community with people that have the same faith, right? And there's people that have been in the same situation as you. So it helps. Here's another thing I like this about being involved in the church. You ready? I wrote this down. When a couple has no one to answer to, meaning like no higher authority, then they become their own standard. And when you're your own standard, that means you're always right. Hello. Proverbs 14:12 says, there's a way that appears to be right, but in the end leads to death. So when you don't have no higher authority, no one to respond to, which is the Lord, or even someone to look to for like help, then guess what? You're your own standard, and that's dangerous. Okay. Number 5, hang out with other married couples. It helps you realize you're just normal like them. Right? Like, oh, you go through that too with your husband or with your wife? Okay, I'm normal like you. And number 6, last one, and I'm done. Don't talk bad about your spouse to your kids. That is so important, because if you talk bad about your spouse to your kids, we're planting a bad seed in them. So be careful how we talk to our kids about our spouse, because they're going to move out one day and you're still stuck with your loved one, okay? So that's very important. But that's 6 things, man, I wanted to share for marriage and millennials. Maybe I'll do another video. Maybe we can all talk. Maybe you can DM me on Instagram at Brian the Bronco. If you live in Vegas, hang out with us. We would love to hang out with you. Our church is Victory Outreach, East Las Vegas. Pull up. We'd love to meet you. And I want you to make it. I want you to be able to see, 80 plus, right? Years old with your spouse, 70 years old with your spouse, weathering the storms. Think about everything. Like I said, number 1, don't vent to people who aren't married. Number 2, arguments are normal. Number 3, consider the 80-20 rule. Number 4, get involved in the church. Number 5, hang out with other married couples. And number 6, don't talk bad about your spouse to your kids. Small steps, big dreams. This is Brian. I'll see you guys.